So picture this, you live on a sailboat and you're exploring all these remote exotic locations, and the next grocery store is hundreds of miles away. You don't need to be out on the Pacific or the Atlantic Ocean to experience this. Sometimes doing my coastal jumps go without seeing a grocery store for various weeks. My name is Nika, and I've been living on my sailboat Karl for nearly 10 years now. Today, I'm gonna take you on a journey into uncharted culinary waters. On sailboats, space is a very precious commodity, and that definitely includes fridge capacity. The first 3 years of my voyage, I didn't even have a fridge at all, but trust me, that is an adventure I do not need to revisit again. So, what's a sailor to do when culinary creativity meets minimal provisions? Now, you might think that we sailors survive solely on canned goods. That's obviously totally not true. I would never ever open a can on Karl.
Pork with
Ever.
beans and toast.
Okay, well,
Very nutritious.
maybe that time. Okay, maybe that time too. Anyways, let's forget about that canned food for a moment. I'm gonna prove to you today that you can totally whip up a delicious meal even when you thought that you've run out of options. All we've left on Karl is an aubergine and some skanky cabbage. But don't you worry, we're gonna transform those humble ingredients into a mouth-watering masterpiece. What you didn't see in the video is what happened in the meantime. So whenever I have the idea again of cooking and filming, making some food without having had breakfast, and something that takes like longer than half an hour, please tell me that it's a bad idea, because we had some moments during this cooking that were a bit with some foul language going on, and I think I might have smacked the kitchen tabletop. Alrighty, so now we've made some flatbread and we've made some coleslaw. Now it's time to get the roasted aubergine out of the oven and wrap up some tasty baba ganoush. So for the finishing touch, you can put a lot of different things. Lots of people put tahini. You can also put like yogurt, but we don't have any of that fancy stuff, so we're just gonna put a little bit of lime, a bit of garlic, obviously, always. Some cumin, I only have the seeds, but you can also use powder. Salt, obviously. Some honey, and some olive oil. And then you can either use a food processor or just a fork to mush it all up. And that's it. Well, now that we've shown you all the beautiful cooking, trying to make it look as if everything was pretty neat on Karl, I'm gonna give you the real picture on how we're actually gonna eat and how it's actually looking like, because everything from the cockpit is inside here, so it's so much pretty crap. I always like to get inspired by other people's meals that they make, so if you have ever made anything delicious from what you first thought was like minimal ingredients, then share it with me in the comments. I'd love to try it out. We're just getting ready to pick up anchor here at Isla Tortuga, and we're about to head further north, either to a bay called Corillo or directly to Tamarindo. We haven't decided yet. Corillo we could probably reach today, and then we're going to see how we feel, or Tamarindo would be an overnight. So we don't have any internet here, so we're just going to putter out a little bit, get some fresh weather report, and then see how things are and decide on the way whether we're gonna go
full on or whether we're gonna stop in Ahoy and give the little 4-pod girl a little break. When we get underway, Boga always comes and sits at my feet for a bit to groove into the journey. Well, also when things get a little rough, she also goes there, which at times can be a little challenging. Huh, Bogi? Well, we just got some internet here passing by Bahia Ballena, and I decided to call it quit on our little longer leg here because there's a fairly big low traveling through with quite some wind, and the sea state is going up to like 1.7, and there's like 12 millimeters of rain in that one, and it's sort of a big one, like it stretches quite widely. We would be in it for multiple hours, so we're just gonna hug into Bahia Ballena here, which seems like a fairly protected bay, and we're gonna stay here the night and the day tomorrow as well because it goes until sort of midday. I'm just gonna do 2 office days instead, trying to catch up on some editing, and then we're gonna try again on Saturday. No passage time left without doing some chores. This is a really nice and calm bay, wide anchorage. There's a bit of an abandoned boat here. It at least seems abandoned. The anchorage is pretty flat, so you can anchor pretty much anywhere. There seems to be a little fishing village, which is super cool. And apparently there's a couple of restaurants on shore and a river that we could explore. And apparently the local shop is stocked really well. So we're just gonna putter in here and see where we're gonna place ourselves. This looks like a calm night of sleep. We dropped the hook in Bahia Ballena and we had a calm night that allowed for some decent sleep. So in the morning we were up early and ready for some river adventures. Well, the entrance looks a lot easier than last time, but then entrances always look easy from the side where you don't see the break as much because you can't see the break as well from obviously from the ocean side. There is a bit of a break, so it's probably more than we think. I'm going to put the camera into the safe housing because I think we might get wet. In the end, the waves were a tiny bit bigger than we had anticipated. And because we're 2 people and 1 dog in the 1-person kayak, I jumped out of the kayak before the break so that Boga and Mark could make it through the break safely. paddle up the river, witnessing the lush green canopy gracefully gliding past and the birds taking flight, a profound realization washes over me. I'm reminded of the love I hold for the life I have crafted, living intimately connected to nature's embrace. Finding solace and joy in life's simplest treasures has become my compass, guiding me towards a fulfilled life. Mark has seen some kind of pizza place that's supposed to be up here, but not so sure. ¿Dónde está la pizzería? Surprisingly, we did not find the pizza place, but luckily we did find an old muesli bar in one of my dry bags, and that kept us from getting hangry on our way back. But more about that next time.